Hey guys, so this is Q&A number 3. This is where I answer some of the questions that I've been getting on some of my videos. If you have any questions for me, just go ahead and comment on this video or just on any of my other videos, and I'll just get around to using them probably for my next Q&A video. So first off, Lovely Gray comments, how does the Marine Corps front sight blade affect the use of the 1903 rear sight? I'd like to know what the ranges are for on my rifle. So the Marine Corps adopted the number 10 sight, which is it's a thicker front sight for the 1903 rifle, and then they also adopted a different 1903 rear sight, but a slightly different. It's slightly more simplified from the first 1903 rear sight, but they set the new battle sight on their sights to 200 yards. But that doesn't necessarily mean much to you if you're not shooting like an M2 ball equivalent or something like that. What you'll have to do is just kind of pick the ammo type that you're gonna use, and then shoot your rifle and just see the point of aim versus point of impact. And I actually did the 1903 in my first point of aim versus point of impact video, and I'll put a card up top. So yeah, it's just shoot your gun, see where it's hitting, and you'll just kind of have to adjust from there. Nothing is exact. I can't tell you where your specific rifle is going to be shooting with your specific sight setup and your specific ammunition usage. So you just have to see. Bidoki 2 says, I just received a Norinco Mac 90 as a gift. What is the value? So yours sounds like a band model, so those go for slightly less than the pre-band Norincos. Still not too bad in value. My Norinco, I don't know if you saw it in my video, but that Norinco I ended up trading for an M1 rifle. So I would say that's about the equivalent of like a lower end M1. So probably like around $700, $800 maybe. I've seen them at gun shows, and they usually have a really high price tag, and I don't think anyone's going to buy them for like $900 to $1,000, but I think you're pretty safe around like asking $700 for it, something like that. The next couple of questions I get all the time on my M1 Garand tips and tricks video. So Billy Boy says the magazine, and Joking Jester says it's not a mag, it's a clip. So so the M1 rifle uses the Mannlicher style magazine system. So a lot of people aren't super familiar with the terminologies of the clip going into the magazine on the rifle. So it's a little confusing because sometimes even with the rifle loaded, I refer to the clip and the magazine as if they're two different things, but it's both inside the gun, and it seems like it's the same thing, but it's not. The M1 clip holds 8 rounds, but the M1 magazine holds 7, and that's because when you load a full clip into the rifle, the top one's stripped off. You can't close a bolt on an empty chamber with 8 rounds still in the magazine on the M1. You have to reduce it to 7, which is what I show in the video. So yeah, when I say magazine, I mean magazine, and when I say clip, I mean clip. Madlock says, I don't understand it all. The people call us Nazis or F-Germans, but all the people love our guns. So I take it that you're German if you're commenting this. Yeah, I mean, I think Americans and a lot of people really do like German guns, and it's real easy for us to separate like Nazi guns from like Nazi ideology. Like we can like the guns that come out of it, but we can hate the Nazis. So it's not that big of a thing. But as far as people calling like modern day Germans Nazis, it's just kind of an ignorant thing unless they're an actual Nazi. I mean, it's been like 70, 80 years now. On my M91 Mosin Nagant video, Ed Pontiff comments, seems like you were against the gun from the beginning. You do realize that is a no-nonsense military rifle for the average Russian soldier, don't you? Okay, So yes, I do have a slight bias against Mosin Nagants, and that bias only comes from my own usage of the rifles. I've owned a few over the years, and I've handled a bunch. I've never been really impressed with the rifle. You can't necessarily just say that the rifle was just, it's a no-nonsense rifle. Like, I mean, most sort of rifles are. Like, you can look at the Mosin Nagant and other rifles that came around the 1890s, and I mean, they're all single stack mags, mostly, you know, simple bolt actions. They're not anything like really special. But the difference is the Mosin Nagant stayed basically the M91 action from, you know, 1891 up until 1945 and beyond, when they stopped making them. It pretty much just stayed the same. It was the same design, and it's kind of a, I don't want to say flawed, but it's not a great design. Like, it has a lot of things that could have been improved, but it just wasn't. And you can see like the Argentine Mauser, the Argentine 1891 Mauser, and how that gun changed a whole lot. Pretty much every year they were doing something, you know, changing the gun, improving it. And I feel like that could have happened with the Mosin Nagant if it had the same sort of skilled people sort of working on the rifle development. Even like the Leonfield, that sort of rifle system, you know, is constantly changing and evolving. And the Mosin, it didn't. It just sort of stayed the same, and that's not a feature. It being a rough rifle isn't necessarily a feature. It's just a coincidence of being an old design. Septic Society, he commented on my video on my $30 range plate holder. He says, more interested in what make and model that folding table is. Looks solid, is it? Yes, that is a really good solid table. It's a Lifetime brand. It's 5 feet long. Yeah, it's a really good table. I highly recommend it. I've taken it all across the country now. I brought it out to the desert and the mountains and the woods, and everywhere that I shoot, I pretty much bring that table outside, and then I bring it inside. It's pretty much my go-to table for shooting and making videos. So it even has some scorch marks of some muzzle blast of me shooting off of it. It's been a great table. I do recommend it. So if you have questions, go ahead and leave them below, or just comment on any of my videos, and if it's intriguing enough, I'll include it in my next Q&A. So appreciate you watching.